Here's what the problem of evil looks like, set up like a classic Aristotelian syllogism, and where you start with your premises, and if you accept the premises, then you can come to logical conclusions. So, if God exists, why is there so much evil, pain, and suffering in the world? And the philosophical syllogism looks like this. Premise one, God exists. Premise two, evil exists. And here's your two logical conclusions you can get from those premises. God is all good, but not all powerful, because we would reason um, if God could stop evil, he would. And the second logical conclusion is God is all powerful, but he is not all good. And you can see there's problems with both of those solutions as well. Any thoughts or comments on that? Or
I mean, it's the logical conclusions are pretty simplistic, right? Because you can break down what does good even mean, right? And there's always caveats or nuances, so it just seems like a blanket statement.
right, it's very simple, very straightforward, and but I mean, unless you're an atheist or agnostic, most people are going to agree with premise one, right?
Perhaps,
I think so.
maybe not as applied, right? Because like I think most people consider themselves a good person, but they're not out there fighting crime 24/7. It's like I think with a little push, people can waver on that one.
The idea that um, God is not compelled to act against the evil, pain, and suffering.
Exactly.
That doesn't sound like a very good God, though, does it?
Well, I mean, I think it depends.
I mean, think of it in terms, I don't know if you have children yet or people that are under your care, and would you allow them to suffer evil, pain, and suffering if it was in your power to prevent it?
That's actually a very good question. And I think that the psychological research has determined that, like, if you're a bad parent, then it's not good. But if you're also like a helicopter parent, 24/7, trying to protect them from everything, it's also not good. And
Yeah.
people need a certain amount of, hardship so that they can be resilient, right? And so like I might allow my kid to play in the playground and scrape their knee, but I'm not going to allow them to run in the street. It's like one of those types of things.
Very good, Nathan. You're
Can I
you're
add
like
to that,
way down the highway of where we're headed tonight.
Fred?
Impressive. Yes.
Can I add in on that?
Yes, please.
When I think about God and evil and trying to put all that stuff together, like if God's almighty and he's, how could he let awful things happen like kids die of cancer and things like that? But I think of it as God gave everybody free will. And when people have free will, they make choices that impact other people. So that's why I think of it like that. And like as a parent, you could do everything you can to protect your child. But then again, your child still has free will. So you could raise them, you could teach them, they could still decide that they want to experiment with drugs, or they could still, everybody has free will. So I think that's what intervenes there, is that free will.
Hey, I love it. What is your name? Oh,
Rosie?
there you, Rosie. Thank you, Rosie. So both Rosie and Nathan, you are way down the highway. Excellent. Of where we're going to head when we talk about like solutions to the problem of evil. And one is what would we call it? A moderate amount of evil, Nathan, enough for growth, but not enough to crush you. And we also have this idea of a free will argument, like, well, God's not the one making you make bad choices. And
Can I?
there is cause and effect in the world. So we will get to all of those. Yes, go ahead.
I wanted to say that it's kind of paradoxical where
yes, God could exist, but the perception of evil is subjective, where we could be under an all-powerful, all-good God, but um due to worldviews and having perceptions that are built different, then we're susceptible to our own understanding, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and so is evil. And I think that in the case that God being all good, it doesn't necessitate that it's causation for it to not be evil in the world. One doesn't necessitate the other. That God being all good doesn't mean that there can't be evil. Is he, then we would have to talk about where is God's parameters of what he can and can't control, or what he chooses and not chooses to control,
Yes.
like free will.
Yes. Excellent. You guys are just firing on all cylinders tonight. That is so good. And we will also get to that. It's, can we as humans even define good and evil? Is that even in our ability from our limited human perspective? And if we're just calling things we don't like evil and things that are pleasing to us good, that just basically makes us egotistical hedonists, where it's all about us. And God could very well be a good God, and we may perspectively not like the way things are going for us. Okay.